Welcome back, class, to another live stream of Animation Collab, where I experiment with new techniques in my animation laboratory in collaboration with other content creators. My name is Sonja and I'm a motion designer. Subscribe if you haven't already. I live stream every Tuesday and Friday. And if you'd like to support me, you can give this video a thumbs up. You can leave a comment in the comment section and you can share this video with your friends. Today we're going to continue the collaboration with Andy, who creates cybersecurity videos on his YouTube channel. And if you've missed any of the previous live streams, you can watch them as replays on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how I get my scenes, my Illustrator files ready for animation. So we're going to set up some layers together, get the assets ready before we can continue animating. Let's jump right in. I can see that my camera is in a funny position again, so we're gonna do the same game as always. And I'm a little dark for some reason. Let's see what we can do about that. A little bit lighter. Okay. And hopefully you can hear me well. There shouldn't be any trouble with that, but if you are experiencing any trouble with the stream, just let me know in the chat. And if you're having trouble accessing the links in the description, just go ahead and use the link links.sonjagaracek.me, and then you can access all the other links that might not be working on YouTube currently via that link on my website. Okay, so where are we? We've got the storyboard. This is the storyboard that we finished together with Andy. All of the edits and amends are already here, and we've animated this very first scene already. And initially, well, we animated the text and we animated Andy, the character, separately. So initially the idea was that this would be this scene would include Andy's logo, but actually I might just save that out as a separate file, or maybe I'll just bring it in as shapes, because there's one thing that you should try and avoid when you're creating your Illustrator files for animation, is that you keep adding layers to this, because as soon as you import this into After Effects, and I'll show you the file, and I just make a copy of that with the current date so that I know that this is a new file and I'm not overwriting anything that I did last time, so that if I want to go back to that version I can. I save it in this little archive folder. And so where are we? Okay, we need to wait a little bit for After Effects to open up. That's going to take just a moment. There we go. So this is what we have prepped, and if we okay, this is my Motion 3, which apparently wants to be a new window. Hi there, welcome. Okay, so basically, if I go to the comp that I imported for this scene, I can see, so I have a I have a folder here called scenes, and I put my imported comps and my layers in here. And if I open the layers, it's a set amount of layers that have been imported to After Effects. And if I add more layers to this Illustrator file, they're not going to get updated. I'll have to import them separately. And I can do that, that's not a problem. The only issue with that is if I import separate layers, let's say I'm just going to import one of those layers again. Let's take the file path here so I don't need to re-import that. and let's go to scenes, and this is the layer. So if I don't choose composition, retain layer sizes, I can just import singular layers. So I just keep it as footage, I import, and then it's going to ask me which of the layers. I can import all layers merged, but that's not what I want. Let's say I want something big, like the text, okay? I want to import that, and I want to import it as layer size. Most of the time, you want to import as layer size. I have never imported anything as document size, because then you don't have the size of the actual object, but you have the size of how big your artboard was. So I don't know why you would want that option. So I've never chosen that. So that's how I import it, and it's not in my scene here. It gets imported in here. You can see it got imported. I can drag it into my scene, but because it's only in the project file window, it gets added as a layer, and it doesn't get positioned in my composition. So when I drag it in, you can already see it's not in the same position as the original text file. So because it's by default, if I'm dragging it into my composition, it's just going to place it in the center of the comp. I can, of course, also drag it into here, and then I can place it. But again, that means it's not in the center of the comp. So this is kind of the issue by importing files or importing your scenes before they're fully set up. Because then you're going to have to deal with the additional importing of new layers. And one other problem, there can be another problem if you create a layer in between the layers that you've already imported. Let's say I just import this layer, I save it, and it's going to take a moment to save, and then I go back to After Effects. It's going to update the links to this Illustrator file. Most of the time, it remembers the layer sequence. So my layer sequence is BG text, and then the separate files, the separate layers of the Andy character. Now, once this gets updated, maybe it's not having an issue right now. I'm going to reload footage to see if it's going to have an issue. It doesn't seem to have an issue right now. Maybe Adobe fixed it by this point, but if you're using any older version of After Effects, it can have the problem that the layer sequence is important in how After Effects reads the link to Illustrator. So I added a random link here, a random layer here, which should have been text. It was text previously. It was the second from the bottom layer. And what After Effects used to do is it would just remember the position of the layer, not the names. Well, the names as well, but it would link to the position of the layer. So if it's the second from the bottom, that's the layer that I'm linking to text. And it would be irregardless of the name of the layer. So then all of your layers get shuffled depending on how many layers you squeezed in between the layers that you already imported in After Effects. And that used to be a huge issue. So it seems like After Effects fixed this issue, so that's no longer a problem, but it was a problem for a really long time. So that was one other reason why I used to not import files, my Illustrator scenes, into After Effects before I fully set it all up. Okay, so now then, let me just, every time I do the stream, my mic seems to be in a slightly different position than the last time. So then I always have to fiddle. Well, the reason for that is because I obviously don't have my microphone in front of me every single day when I'm working. So every time I swing my microphone in front of me when I'm doing the stream, and also with the camera, they are right next to my desk. So if I nudge them during the days I'm not streaming, when I'm bringing them back to stream, they're always in a slightly different position. But yeah, such is the life of the multi-hyphen. I'm a streamer, I'm an animator, I'm a motion designer, I'm an illustrator, and I'm doing all those things at the same time on different days. Okay, so So now I want to decide, do I want to bring this logo into the scene? I can do that, it's not a problem. But also I could just bring it in as shapes. So I should probably also decide what I even want, how I even want to animate these. And I thought I could just bring all the little slices in from the outside after this has animated away. But maybe I don't want to do that. Okay, you know what? Let's just bring this in as shapes. So for that, I don't need to go in create. Well, I guess I can still copy it over. Let's copy it over. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna create a new layer up top, and I'm just gonna name this logo. And Control-Shift-V, paste in place. Oh, I didn't have the artboard highlighted, so paste in place. And I just noticed that this one's actually cut out. This one's cut out. It's actually a knockout group, I think. No, it's 0%. Okay, let's bring it up to 100%. I don't know why that was 0%. Okay. Now, let's see. Why did I name the storyboard? Oh, okay. I had paste remembers layers highlighted, so it took the name of the layer and added it in here. So I can actually remove this and just rename this to logo. Save. And now I'm going to use Overlord to bring it into this scene. And this is the original, so I can close that. This is the animation comp. This is the main comp. Then comes the scene. And there's something else I'd like to change with the text, but I'll go through that in just a minute. So, let's bring this in. Let's use Overlord. And that brings it in as one file, which is totally fine. I don't know if I want to separate this. I think I do, actually. So I'll say logo green. I'm going to name these groups so that when I explode them, they're gonna be named like this. And I have a little asset. Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my Windows set up to my regular setup. Okay, which creates a whole bunch of different windows. But I have this explode shape layers little plugin. It's very useful. That's a paid plugin. So this is not a sponsorship for that logo, for that plugin. But it's a very useful plugin. It just explodes the groups, or if you have singular shapes, all the shapes. But I'm gonna go back to small screen because I think you're not gonna get too much out of that, and it's a little compact. Okay, so now we're back. And what I would like is... Okay, let me see. I think I'm going to create... Oh, why is that the center? I would have thought there's the... Okay. I added a null controller. I'm going to rename that control logo. But I want to bring it into the center. Yeah. And then I'm going to link that again. And I'm going to use one of my presets and do a pop-up bounce on this, which I've already set up with the inertial bounce expression. So that's just sitting in my in a comp inside of my After Effects file. So it's gonna pop up, but what I would like to do as well, I'd like it to rotate once and then have the same expression. Let's see, this is probably gonna be crazy. Okay. So I thought that would be cool, and maybe the position changes a little bit as well. So they start off here, and so see, oh, you can't really see. Okay, let's push this even further. See? This doesn't do a lot, but I thought maybe the symbols could also do that. And so let's see, there's the shield. Wow, it even keeps the naming of the group. That's nice. So I want the position to be here, but it starts actually off screen, and now I need a... Gonna add this on top, create another group, and then add like a merge path that is subtract. Let's see if that's gonna work. But why is it making it white? I don't like that. Don't give it a fill, don't give it a stroke. Okay. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. But why is it giving intersect? No. Add. Okay, that's not quite working. Let me undo that. So basically I want to create a mask, but I think I cannot duplicate this. I need to add it to this maybe? Let's see. Merge path. But I don't want it to create an additional fill. It's all about the positioning of this merge path group, but I never know how I need to position it to actually get the masking effect. Subtract, add, merge, no, intersect. Ah! This is so strange. Okay, we're gonna have to... I mean, if I can't do it inside of the same group, I could just take the shield out of that shape and have them as separate things. That's another option. I really wanted to do it this way, but I guess I can't. So let's just explode this as well. Oh yeah, I don't have my... Now I forget which one it actually is. Is it the shape layer? No, explode shape layers. That's the one. I'd like to explode this. Oh yeah. Logo, green, shape. And I can copy paste that onto this. And I can just keep this as a guide layer and give it a none and just drop it to the bottom of this. And that way I can give the shield a... I'll just pin this over here. I can then give the shape a preset, an effect, and that's the set matte effect. And the mask can be the shape. And that way I can give this, no, right, so let's remove all of these positionings. I can keep this one because I actually want to move this to the inside, like that. And then when it's rotating, it can do that moving out, but it actually needs to be faster than that. Okay, let's see. Nope. Let's actually not do that on the shield. I think I don't like this. Let's only, the shape, let's only do it on the... Or I can do it on the shapes. Let's try that, actually. Instead of having the entire circle jump open, I can do it for the shape. So let's remove this whole thing, add it to this, not to that one, to this one. And maybe this just rotates. Well, it has to rotate once around, otherwise it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't have to rotate once around. Maybe it can rotate from like -45 or -90 degrees to 0. Whoops. Maybe. And then I can also do this sequentially. So let's give this to these. And let's sequence them. I usually use Dojo Shifter to sequence because it's the easiest plugin, and this is a free plugin too. And I'm gonna sequence them by maybe like 2 frames because it's already not a lot. Okay, and also I didn't put this anchor point in the right position. Same for this one. Okay, sure. Let's explode this. Okay, and just so I can see where I'm going with this, I'm gonna pull the keyframes to the front. And I also need to add the, where is it? The set mat, and I can just copy this from this one and add it to this one, and then I just need to change the actual mat to the blue shape. And this first keyframe is easy ease, and the second keyframe is 75%, and I'm just using motion 3 for my preset velocity. And you know what? I don't usually play music while I animate, but we might as well add a little bit of background music. Why not? Let me just find my playlists. I have the same 4 playlists as I do for Shut Up and Draw. So, and although it's playing through the desktop, now you should be able to hear it. Maybe not. There we go. Now you should be able to hear it. I can't hear it. For that, I would have to put my headphones on, but I thought for the moments where I'm not talking, you can at least have some background music for yourself. Okay, so now I animated that. I can pull it back. And I can also, I think it was 2 frames down. And at this point we need the red shape, and the red shape also has multiple ones of these. So let's explode this one as well. It would have been nicer to use the merge path because then I wouldn't have to have so many shapes, but I can't be bothered trying to figure out merge path. I was never able to figure it out. If you know how to use merge path, please do let me know. Oh no! Oh no, I exploded it in the wrong moment. Okay, let's explode it at this point. And then this becomes a guide layer. And we bring that to the bottom. So this is now... Oh yeah, now I have to adjust the anchor point again, because I've exploded it and it's a new layer. And here I need to pull in let's pull it to here. And this is easy ease, and this other one is... Actually, I think I did 100% on the green one. So let's go 100% velocity. And I want this to be 2 frames. So it starts here. And then this is 2 frames later. Okay, let's see. I think that's quite nice. Oh, okay, the red bolt doesn't have the set mat yet. Let's add that. And I want it to be the red shape. And now we actually have a voiceover for Andy now, but because I don't want to focus on animation in this live stream, I won't bring it in. So first it's, hi, I'm Andy. And then the animation comes in. Okay, and now here is that bit that I wanted to change. And that is, I started this animation with a start time code of 59 minutes, but actually I want to change that. I want to bring this back down to 0 so that I can create an essential graphic with this, and also change the length of how long the animation is going to be on screen. So let's do that, and let's say this is, I don't know, like 10 seconds long, and then I can make changes. Now everything's going to disappear. Actually, before I do that, let's undo that. Before I do that, let's cut everything and bring it to the beginning of this comp. So now everything is right at 0. Okay, I'm going to delete this marker. And now I want to bring this down. I remove the stop time code, bring everything down to 0, make this 10 seconds long. And now what I can do is I can add a protected region here. Can add a protected region, create protected region from work area, and that's the in animation. And then is there no out animation? Oh, I guess the out animation is maybe further down. Let's see. Let's go to 1 minute, because I don't know. Oh, did we? Oh, I guess we didn't do the out animation. So let's just add that then. Say +1 second. No, say +5 seconds. 5 seconds of waiting, and then everything goes back. So I'm just gonna grab all of these keyframes, and I'm gonna use motion 3 to duplicate them, to clone them actually. And I have to right click and time reverse keyframes. And at this point, whoops, sorry, hiccup. At this point, I'm going to drag these forward. these backward so they line up the same way as in. And these ones line up with the back. So move them down. And this one is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's probably a different 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. It's a random amount of keyframes. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Oh, and it has to disappear. Okay. So, yes, okay, it wasn't by keyframes, it was however long it takes before this one gets smaller. Okay, so, and now I can, first of all, lengthen these layers. Oh, yes, damn. Okay, now I have a problem because I want... I just discovered a mistake in my thinking. So I was going to reverse these keyframes, but the padding is actually done with an expression, and I can't just reverse that. So, Okay, you know what? Let's undo this. So what I was going to do originally, I'll just show you my thinking, and then we'll undo that. Create protected region, and then I will trim comp to work area, and then what happens is I go in here and I have this text that is now this long. Where is the length? Hello. Okay, I need to... Okay, there we go. Now it's this long, and when I update the markers, you can see I have these protected regions, and now I can drag this out and make this as long as I want. So the animation isn't affected, but I can make this stay longer or shorter on screen. Come on, play it. And then it disappears again. But that was the idea, but that doesn't work because the padding is, the animation of the padding is set with keyframes, with an expression instead of keyframes. So let's undo all of this. And instead, I'm not going to make a template out of this, or rather not in the same manner. Instead, I'm going to use time reverse keyframes, time reverse, time remapping keyframes. I could also just cut this layer, time reverse it, and then play it backwards. That's also an option, but with time remapping keyframes, I can also change the duration of the animation. So this is the entire animation, but actually I probably want to go in and add a keyframe where the animation finishes. That's exactly here. So actually, let's undo that again because I already removed the original keyframes. So let's go back inside, find that last keyframe, put that marker there, go outside, put that marker there. That's where I want to have that keyframe. Now I remove the keyframes at the beginning, at the end of the comp where, or the layer where the time remapping usually adds the keyframes to. Now I have the animation keyframed, and now nothing happens. And whenever I want to have the off animation, I can just paste those keyframes, time reverse them. And right now it's like 60 frames, that entire thing. I can even shrink it down to 1, 2, 3, 30 frames. And that way the animation, let's just turn this off for a second so you can actually see that. Now we can have the animation on. And then it stays for a while. And then it goes away and it's a little faster too. And I think at this point, somewhere around here, we can have these starting to pop up. Maybe a little later. More like here, probably. And let's turn this text off. And then this would look something like that. Hi, my name is Andy, and today we're going to talk about the Miter Attack framework. And yeah, that would look something like that. Let me show you that in bigger. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. Let's have another look at the logo coming in. Yeah, I like that. It's very cute. Let's have, oh, hello. Preview, hello. The preview just disappeared. Hello. Okay then. It's very odd. The preview just decided not to preview anymore. Okay, thanks After Effects. That's excellent. Okay, doesn't matter. We don't need After Effects anymore. So let's close that. Now that we've added this logo, we can start with the next scene. And the next scene is the Miter Attack framework. And I think... So, okay, now I have to make a decision if I want to keep this framework like this, or if I want to bring in the other look of it on the, what we had, I'll show you in the second storyboard. Let me grab that. Let me just check something else really quick. Alrighty. Alright. So, yeah, we have this. This was one of the ideas, that we would not have this framework coming up like this, but we would have this mat unrolling, and that would be the framework. I could do that instead. Let me think. I think I prefer this look. The only issue is that at this point we have a little title up here. I think my microphone's actually picking up the music that's coming through my headphones. Okay, because this little MitraCTAC thing, this little board is coming with the string, but I guess this has like a little gray thing. Oh, I don't know how I should proceed. Because I like the idea that it's on this kind of on this little board. It's just the issue that the string then wouldn't work. I guess I could mask that out, maybe? Okay, you know what? Let's just grab this entire thing. Sure. Let's grab the little dude. And I think I'm not gonna make this a scene file, but actually... Now I made a few changes to this. Yeah. So I made some changes to this template file, which I didn't save to the template. I should do that sometime. Okay. So I'm going to bring this in like this, and I think I'm going to create a template from this. How did I make the Illustrator template? You can save as, so if I didn't have anything in here, I can go to save as, and I can save it as an Illustrator template, which is an AIT, and it gives me the option to save it into, I think it's the user defined, it's here under program files, Adobe Illustrator, cool extras, and then the language that you have for your Illustrator, and then templates, and then you can save your template files in here, and I can just overwrite this one. Yes. But I can't overwrite it because in that folder you need to have admin access. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to copy this file path, instead save it here, for example, and then I can go to that file path, open another window, navigate back to this file, and then I can drag it in, replace, and then it's gonna ask me for admin access, and I can say continue and overwrite that file. Yay! And then I can go back to my storyboard, and then I can save as a regular file. And now I want to be here. And that's how you save template files. And template files basically do that once you open it, it automatically creates a new file, and you don't overwrite that AI file that you set up as a template, because it's a template file format. So it automatically creates an untitled Illustrator file that you can then save without saving over your original template. And if you're talking about template files for After Effects, what I do with that is I just name it T underscore and then the name of the template, and that then means for myself that I'm using this file multiple times, so it's not a scene file as such. And now I'm going to paste, oh yeah, no, I can't do that because it's this. I have to copy it from the storyboard again and then paste it in here, and I would like to have this background again, so I'm going to copy that too. Copy, and now I'm going to turn on paste remembers layers. Oops, but I have to have the same artboard selected, and then it names the file the same as where it copied it from, which is great. Names the layer the same as where it copied it from. Now we need to separate this entire thing out. So I have the little dude here, and the little dude needs to be separated in all its little pieces. So I think I'm going to just completely ungroup this dude. Then it has the little stick, and then we have this graph, and then that needs to be separated out as well. And these are the separate little bits. I'm going to separate every single thing out of this, and that group as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this blend. I'm just gonna keep this the one in the very beginning, and get rid of all the rest. Okay. And that way I can then duplicate it later. And actually I need to separate this out as well so that I can unfold this. Yep, okay. Now I've separated everything that I want to be separate. I'm going to highlight the layer. I think you can't. Can you see that? Yeah. I'm highlighting the layer. I'm clicking the target, and I'm going to go to release layers, which unfortunately you can't see in this view, but it's release to layers sequence. And now it puts everything in its own layer, because that's important for importing it into After Effects and being able to click on the things, because unless you push everything through with Overlord and use shapes, you won't be able to highlight the individual assets inside of one layer. They all have to be on the separate layers. Okay, so let's call this, so this entire thing is probably, it's like a projector screen. Let's call it screen, and this is screen string. And actually, what I like to do is I like to pre-name groups of things that belong together. And I have this little preset, which is rename visible layers or sublayers. And it's a script. It's a script that I once found on an Adobe forum that somebody wrote. And that forum entry is no longer accessible because Adobe just decided that forum entry or that forum doesn't exist anymore because they redid their forum structure or something like that. But if you'd like to have access to that script, it's a free script. It was just, you know, it's a common Creative Commons script. You can access that in the assets that I provide for all of my mailing list subscribers. So if you'd like to subscribe to my mailing list, you can have access to that assets folder, which includes the script for renaming layers in Illustrator. And if you'd like to learn how to add that to Illustrator via an action, you can find the instructions on my Instagram, or you can take my class. Which class is that again, you might ask? That is this class on my courses section on my website. It's the class right at the bottom here. Be more efficient in Adobe After Effects. And this is where I show you how to add that script to your Illustrator and also how to animate a bunch of stuff with expressions as well. So my mailing list is mailinglist.sonjagaracek.me, and the class that I'm talking about is this class. Okay, and let's get back. And I want these to be named screen underscore, and at this point the layer order doesn't really matter, but usually I do reverse layer order, which means it's from the bottom to the top as per this instruction, and it only renames all the layers that are visible, so where the eye is turned on. And this is the screen, and then I can go on in and rename the little numbers, and this is the pull tab, or maybe one word pull tab. This is the actual screen, so this is the main thing, and this is the bar, and usually I go bar top. If it's top, then it's a big capital T, and if it's bottom, it's a capital B, and left and right would be capital L and capital R. And this is the column, and these are the highlights. So these are the tasks. I forget how does he describe that? Items, okay. Excuse me. The music stopped. Let's turn on another playlist. Okay, so these are items. So I'm going to bring back my rename layers. And now I'm just going to name them item 1 to however many. And I want them to be named actually in order. So I want this one to be the first one, then this one to be the second one. Let's actually bring back everything else so I can see. So this one's supposed to be the third one. So 1, 2, 3, then this one. Whoops, nope. Didn't mean to drag it inside of that layer. Bring that volume down. Okay, and then it's that one, and then it's that one, and then it's that one. Okay, so I'm going to rename that again, and what the rename layer does, it just overrides the names. So I'm just going to rename that again, and now it's in order, and I'm going to do the circles. And I want to again find the correct order. I think these are actually in order already. Not quite. Or actually, yeah, I think these are in order. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this item circle. Yeah, sure. Let's name it this. Item circle 1 to 7. And then arrows. Okay. Item, arrow, and then let's call this guy prof. It's the prof stick. Then I think this is the prof body. So let's rename all of these prof, like professor, you know. Oops. I only turned on the one layer, so let's turn on all the layers. This is the prof body, this is the prof leg left, this is the prof leg right, and I am separating the foot from the leg, even though we don't see it now, but maybe I want to bring him further into the screen and then you'll see the legs and the feet and I have to animate them. And if I didn't set that up in the beginning, it would be difficult to separate them later on. So I'm just making my life easier and preparing that now, even though I'm probably not going to use it, but I might. And it's going to be more work separating it later on. So I'm going to separate it now just in case. And the just in case doesn't apply to all things because some things do actually take a long time to prep. And if you're definitely not going to use it, the just in case is more work than necessary. But in this case, I might use it and it's not that much additional work, so I am going to prep it anyway. This is the eye. This is the iris. And my computer wants me to stand up for a second, which I'll do in a minute. This is the hat. This is the arm right, and right and left is from my perspective because it's otherwise too confusing. And now everything's set up and I save that file and that's all set up. And what I think I'm going to do is now we also, well, I don't need to bring this in per se because I actually already have the template in After Effects for this title and the text and everything. But what I would like to do is title. I just want to figure out how I can bring this in so it still works. I guess this kind of still works when it's like this. I mean, the gray kind of fades into the background. The legs will be cropped out. I just want to give myself the options to, maybe I'll decide to make this guy smaller, you know. Ooh, prof body didn't make it into the naming. So if I decide, you know what, I want this guy to be smaller and I actually want him to stand on the ground, and then if I didn't set up the feet, it would be annoying to set them up afterwards. So I'm just setting them up completely, even for things that I'm not seeing in screen right now or that I didn't plan on having on screen, just in case I change my mind, because throughout the animation process you find things, you find better ways of doing something, or something might look better once you go in and start animating than how you planned it in your head. So I always want to give myself a little bit of leeway with my preparation and my illustration so that I can make changes where and when necessary. And I think I can go with it like this, but I think this I'm not gonna be able to animate in like I did with the previous one. Let's see, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. This would probably work the way it is if this was removed. So maybe what I'll do for this scene is bring in the the title like this, or maybe full screen like this one, and then maybe shrink it down here and remove the subtitle. I'm gonna have to see how I'm going to animate that. So for now, I'm just going to leave this in here, and oh, I did have paste remembers layers turned on, so created a new layer. So that's fine. I'm just gonna bring it in like this, and then I'm going to see how I'm going to make the changes in the animation. I could also change this to white, but then it kind of fades away the edges. I don't know. I'll see. But for now, this is fine. So this is the template attack framework, and I can eventually bring that in and make all of the necessary animations for that. Okay. Nope. And the next one would be the company Mitre. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab this last frame, or yeah, let's grab this last frame. And now I'm going to go into the scene, and even though I don't now have an Illustrator file for this scene, I'm still going to keep the scene naming for this. And I did originally think that this would be one scene between this one and this one, but now after further reflection, I think I'm going to separate these two scenes, because now I don't have this title on the entire time, I don't think. I think it's just gonna come on and then disappear. So actually, I think I'm gonna make a change, and I'm going to renumber this. I'm gonna make this 4. And I'm gonna copy this and bring it up here. And I'm going to make this scene number 3. And ordinarily, I don't really go into my numbering, and I'm renumbering it in my storyboard, but just for the sake of you seeing it, I'm gonna do that. And sometimes it is helpful to have the numbers in here correctly so I can take them over into my scene files, but I would probably just go ahead and name the scenes something different. So, but I'm gonna do it here anyway because it's pretty easy, it's pretty quick. I don't have that many scene numbers, so that way I don't get confused later on. So that's 7, that's 8. And I'm not gonna make the changes in the storyboard, in the second storyboard, because I might make more changes to the scene numbers later. I don't know yet, so let's keep it like this for now. And okay, so let's start a new scene here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open the template again. And I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to also copy this background layer. And because I already had a layer with the same naming, it just used that layer to paste using paste remembers layers. If it didn't have the layer, it would create the layer with the same name. And what I want to do is save this. Save? No. Oh, okay, I see. I was using the wrong combination. So now the only downside of using the template is it's going to try and save it in the templates folder every time. So now I have to find the scenes. So what I mentioned before, even though I don't now have a scene, an Illustrator file with that scene number 2, because scene number 2 is actually a template file, I will have that scene number in the After Effects comp. So I don't want to skip that scene number, but actually go with the scene numbering in this Illustrator, in this storyboard. So this is scene 1, these 3, this mitre attack, that's scene 1. This is scene 2, and even though that doesn't exist as an Illustrator file, it will exist as a comp layer in After Effects. So I am going to continue naming the Illustrator files as if that scene existed as an Illustrator file to keep that naming consistent. And I'm going to save this, and I have to navigate back to those scenes. And I'm going to save this as the 3rd scene rather than as the 2nd scene to keep in line with the storyboard numbering. And this is mitre. And I'm also going to bring in that title from the storyboard. So it's this mitre. And even though in my case it's actually just a reference layer, and sometimes I even go ahead and I write a big capital ref for reference layer, so I can immediately ignore it because I already have the template animation of that title. So I'm just gonna put that in there. And now I want to separate everything out in here. So I'm going to ungroup that first. And first, let's just sequence these 3 groups. And then I can see if I want to separate it even more. So this is the ring in the background. This is the, what's it called? It's the, oh, I forget. It's the, well, it's the organization really, but this is supposed to be the, damn it, I keep forgetting what this is supposed to be. What's the name for this? It's, you know, big companies usually have a room full of a bunch of computers, and that's the name I'm looking for. It's the... I can't think of it. Data processing... What is it called? A server! It's a server! Okay, there we go. Server! It's not the room with the computers. I mean, that can be a server as well, I guess, but it's not what I meant. Okay. Browser, this is actually the attack, or I can also name it after, sometimes I name it after what is being said in the voiceover, so I can link it to those particular things. So I could also call this mitre. Is it mitre, M-I-T-R-E or E-R? It's R-E, okay. Mitre, and this is attack. It's actually attack with an ampersand, but I don't want to use that in case it goes... Yeah, in case the naming doesn't transfer correctly and creates problems. And this is other resources. Sources. Okay, and what I sometimes do with these is I try to set them up. I try to... How should I say? Separate the items in such a way that I have the option to add more detailed animation to them, okay? So they are not just plopping up, but maybe when they plop up, something else happens inside of them, so the whole frame doesn't look too static. And if it does look static, I have a little bit more room to play with these items. And sometimes that means setting them up as separate scene files. So this is where the 030A would come in. So maybe I actually want to set this up as its own little file because it's gonna have a lot of little layers. So yeah, maybe I'll do that actually. Yeah, why not? So let's, and I will then actually leave these in here, and I can make them into ref files. That way I know where they have to go, and I have the correct positioning of them. And then the little scene files, the little asset files, will actually be a smaller composition size. So let's save that. And now I'm going to save this as, and now I'm going to add a little A behind it. Attack. So now these are the sub files. Actually, the mitre doesn't need to be a ref. Well, I guess it can. So actually, open. I want to rename this. The reason why I closed that is because I want to server. I want to rename this, and this is going to be the mitre thing. And what I'm gonna do is put this in the center of this. Oh, what happened? Artboard. And then I'm actually gonna make the artboard smaller. So I don't tend to do this unless I'm creating these separate asset files. And I might as well go for some round number, like 460 times 460. And now it's a little square. And because it's in the center, I can then place it exactly in the same place as the reference of this asset. And now I can take this completely apart, just in case I want to animate single parts of this. Let's call this spine. Sometimes I have to get very creative with the naming of these. So this is the first stack 1, stack 1, stripe, maybe. And then we have the 3 little dots, because I could, for example, I could change the colors on these to make them like bleep bloop bleep bloop and blink and things. So I could do that. So let's go stack 1 dot 1, stack 1 dot 2. I tend to always go to 01, 02 when I'm naming something with a number sequence, because I feel like it's easier to read. I don't know. Or maybe I just have this whole thing about going past 10, so you can see that it goes from 0, 9 to 1, 0, and it's 9, 10, and so on. So I kind of try to keep that consistent in my naming. And this is stack 2. And actually at this point I might as well... Oh, I think it's the wrong stack. This is stack 3. This is stack 2. And I can use my little renaming tool to do that. Now everything's named stack 01, and then this is stripe. And this is where a lot of typos creep in. And actually, I could rename this. Oh no, I named it stack 1 instead of stack 2. Okay, You know what? I'm also going to move this to the bottom of this. And then it can help me in naming the dots as well. Stack 02, not stack 01. And then here I don't need to even add the naming for the dots. Although I think they are going the wrong way around. Maybe. No, actually it's the right way around. Dot 3, and then this needs to go above. And this is the stripe. Okay. And then we have this, and we can also move these dots to the bottom, and that way it helps with the naming. And this is stack 03. And this is dot, 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 stack, and stripe. Alright, so now this is set up, and ordinarily what I would do is bring this, the mitre attack, where is it? I think I need to navigate back to my scenes. I would bring in this scene file into After Effects. Then I would bring in this sub-scene file and place this composition. It would come in as a composition. Place this composition above this, and then just hide this reference layer so that I can then have that composition on top. And that way I don't have I would only then have this many layers in the third scene file. And inside of the comps of the singular items, I would have all of those additional layers, so that if I decide to animate them, I have the option. If I don't, this scene is still much cleaner with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers instead of 7 plus, or, you know, 7 plus all of these layers, plus all of the layers of each one of these items. And also, like, whoops, didn't mean to touch that. Hi there, welcome. And then I could essentially also animate this, you know, instead of it only plopping up, I can have it plop up, but I can also have all of these separate dots plop up and the lines growing, you know, I can make it, hi, greetings from Germany. How's the weather in Hungary? It's just been snowing here today, even though it was like 20 degrees just a few days ago. It's insane. My grandma was saying that it's pretty cold in Bratislava in Slovakia, so I would expect it to be pretty cold in Hungary, unless you're in a very far off, very low region of Hungary. No, your English is totally fine. Don't worry. Okay, so, yeah. But unfortunately, you're arriving pretty late in the stream because I think I'm gonna take a break now. That's basically how I would set up this type of file. Well, I guess I can go ahead and just set up the last few of these assets as well. Unfortunately, I do not speak Hungarian. Only Slovak and a few other languages. Yeah, let's go ahead and just set up these assets as well, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day. But as you can see, there's quite a few assets still to set up, so I think the setting up that I had planned will still take me a few more days, a few more streams, but we can do it in such a way that we set up a few scenes or one scene, and then I go back into animating those scenes, and then I go back into setting up those scenes. So for those of you who are waiting for the animation phase, they're not going to be left stranded just watching me do preparation work. Sorry, hiccup. Okay, let's set up this one. So this would be the B. Let's also lock this one. And I'm now going to, I'm actually just going to save as, so it's not going to keep saving in the templates folder. And this is going to be B now, and I'm going to name it after the reference folder, the reference layer, which I called attack. So this is going to be B, and I didn't need to copy that since I'm just saving it out. And I'm going to remove everything else that isn't this layer. And I'm going to move it to the center of the comp, and I'm going to make the comp also 460 by 460, the same size as the other comp. And then what I can do is I can maybe just grab out these few little yeah, let's ungroup this, and what should we keep together? Let's keep this and okay. Just trying to figure out, you know what, I'm going to expand this appearance, and that way it creates these little things, and I'm gonna adjust them as I create the animation for the original one, because this is like a simplification of that previous screen. Actually, you know what? I just realized something, and that being that now we are using this view of it. So the view has actually changed. The representation of this framework has changed. So now it's no longer that screen, this browser window type thing, but it's actually this. No. Let's bring this to the front. Okay, so instead of this browser screen, we're gonna have this. And instead of them being gray, I'm going to turn this off. They're going to be white. White. And this, I guess that can stay there. It's kind of like the, no, actually, you know what? Let's get rid of that. Let's move this a little closer. And then I can arrange them, and I can add a few more of these. Oh, what? Center that, And now this is going to be the miter attack framework. And what else? I think oh, I see. It didn't put this group. What is this path? Why are some of these rectangles and some of these are paths? That's so strange. So let's go inside this group and let's ungroup all of them so that I can group them in the appropriate columns. And I think our music has stopped again, so let's start playing some other music. There should be two on top of each other, I think. Yep, this one. All right. So that makes this much easier, since now I only have these columns that I need to rename. Column. Yep, there we go. And I'm gonna take this and I'm actually going to bring it into the original miter scene as a reference. Let's untick the paste remembers layers because I don't think it's useful anymore. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. I could maybe also play around with the positioning of the columns and such. But I'm gonna do that at a different time when I'm actually in the Illustrator file. Okay, let's grab the other resources. Save this. And let's duplicate this file instead, and this is going to be C. Other resources. Now I can remove all of this. Yes. And let's ungroup this entire thing. And since I have the additional file, I might as well make use and absolutely break it up, explode it into all of its little particles. So this is the hexagon background, hexagon frame, and this is... Now we have a bunch of lines. I don't think I can make any sense of these lines, so I'm just gonna have to name them line 1 to however many lines I have, to be honest. Don't think this is anything useful, so let's delete that. Yeah. Hi, Raul! How's it going? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna call this line and then just number them. And then I have a bunch of dots. And I think for this, these like end dots, I'm gonna bring those up at the top. And I'm gonna name them dot end. Then we have let's see, dot fill dot outline, and this is dot center. Now I have everything set up, and that's going pretty quickly. So let's go. The last thing is this CVE. Let's save that as its own file as well, and that's going to be D. A, B, C, D, and this is CVE. And I can get rid of everything apart from the CVE. I hope the music isn't too loud. Let me know if the music's too loud, because I actually can't hear what you're hearing, because I'm changing the volume on OBS and not on my computer. But okay, so now let's put that, bring that in the center, and let's change the size of this. Come on. This artboard is going to be 460 by 460, as all the others too. And what I would like to do is very simply separate the folder from the document, so I can slide the documents out essentially. And maybe I'll also create a mask so that I can hide the documents behind it. And I'm just gonna use the document, the folder, and remove the outline. And yeah, just drag this down a little bit. It can be however long. Okay. Yeah, and that's essentially it. I mean, for this one, I don't really need to do a lot. This is... okay, I guess I can rename the documents with my renaming method. Document 1, 2, 3. And then this is folder. And that's it. Now I have all of the sub files for this scene number 3. And that's it. That's it for that scene. And I think for the next live stream of Animation Collab, I will be animating that scene, so you can look forward to a little bit of animation. And after that, we're going to do a little bit of setup again, and then a little bit of animation again. So I hope you are looking forward to that. And actually, because I set up this attack framework as a template file, with that I have also essentially set up this scene number 4, which I then just need to animate. So you have 2 scenes to animate to look forward to be animated to look forward to. Okay then. Yeah, I think let's call it a day. Let's pause the music. I hope you enjoyed yourself today. I hope I could help you in showing how I set up my Illustrator files for animation and how I make them animation ready, essentially. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments of this video. If you would like to access any of my classes where I go in depth on specific projects on how to animate that, you can head over to my website or to classes.sonjagericek.me. The links are as always in the video description, but if they don't work, you can also just head to my website sonjagericek.me or links.sonjagericek.me. That link is also in the chat, and that link should work, and it should get you to all of the other resources that I have on my website. You can also, if you'd like to support me, become my patron. We can actually just check if those links work. I hope they work. But I do have a Patreon. Let's see if YouTube will let me use these links. Okay, so the links seem to be in operation, so hopefully you can access that. Yeah, if you'd like to support me in creating free content for you, you can become my patron and get a bunch of cool perks along with that. For one, I offer expressions and project files as part of the perks and benefits of becoming one of my patrons. And of course, it's the community that I'm trying to gather around animation and motion graphics in After Effects with a sprinkle of expressions. And there are already a bunch of perks available, with loads and loads more to come as soon as I can package them nicely and put them up. And if you are not a fan of a monthly subscription for support, you can also just buy me a coffee on ko-fi.com. That's a one-off support for me. But of course, your support in watching, subscribing, and liking the video is already enough. So if you can't support me monetarily, then you can support me by sharing this video with your friends and on the internet. Thank you for joining today, and I hope to see you next time. This Friday we're going to do Shut Up and Draw as per usual, and I think I'm going to start a new project, or maybe pick up an old project that I haven't finished yet. We'll see. Until then, I hope you're having a good Easter, or had a good Easter, and I hope to see you next time on the next stream. See you then. Bye!